So should we begin, or
Yes.
do you expect someone else to come?
I'm not sure, but I don't believe that anybody wants. I want to ask you. We shall speak for Russian audience, so I will translate every your sentence in Russian. So make pauses.
I understand if you speak English, but I cannot himself speak, not practice.
Yes, I have this problem too. I read English as freely as Russian, but I have almost no practice in communication. In fact,
Well, you speak
I
well,
know-
I think. Okay, I don't know how many pauses should I make, so feel free to tell me if I'm
after
going
every
too
sentence,
fast.
sentence by sentence, you shall translate sentence by sentence. I think it will be okay.
Okay, okay.
Мы будем
So
переводить
first,
предложение за предложением.
okay, I have your email in front of me, so I will begin with the history of our party. Okay. So
Я задавал вопросы о истории партии, о том, почему Маркета думает, что они добились такого успеха на выборах, что бы они делали, если бы у них было большинство в парламентах, и их отношение к международному пиратскому движению. I repeated those questions in Russian. Я повторил эти вопросы по-русски.
So very briefly, we were established 9 years ago, based on the happening, or based on the Swedish model, because in Sweden was the first pirate party. The primary focus at those days was the freedom of internet and generally, a free society that has access to information. That is what we are based on. Then we tried to have success in few elections. However, we weren't successful until last October. I don't know how it is in your party or your country, but after, even if we don't reach the threshold, which is 5%, we get some money if we reach a lower threshold, like 3%. And we got quite a lot of money from the European elections to European Parliament in 2014, which helped us a lot. And as we are very efficient with the money, we were able to fund a great campaign. And maybe that's all for the very brief history, and I will begin saying something about our last campaign, which ended up in the huge success. Well, we had a study from an agency how people perceive us, and we realized they think we are a party of just one topic, like or two topics, like internet, copyright, and legalization. And we needed to change that if we wanted to be perceived as established party. So our first focus in the campaign was actually launching a campaign about our financial program, because interestingly enough, if people think you understand finances and economy, they think you are a serious party and
Yes.
serious player. After that, we I have to think about the campaign and how it went. After we caught their attention and interest with that, and we got into some media, our campaign was focused on talking to people and going outside, and I will tell you our biggest success outside after you translated this.
What does exactly mean outside? What do you mean saying outside?
Yeah, like that it wasn't focused on online, because we actually got success and success. Well, we had a lot of voters that are online, like on Facebook and other social sites, you know. So we didn't really want to focus on them. We wanted to focus on those people who don't know us, who don't actually know who we are, you know, which are those people that are not that much online, like older people and in villages, you know. And we actually had a bus on which with which we went through the whole Czech Republic into all the villages, and we'll talk to people, gave them our newspapers with program and information. The bus was also important because we printed on the bus not only our logo and stuff like that, but also some kind of a fun or well, sorry, I have to explain it thoroughly, so sorry, I will begin again, and please translate what I will say now, and then I will begin the rest. Our main claim was something like, let us add them, and by that we meant them meant the old structures, the corrupted politicians and people like that, and let us like really, you know, drive, like, let us into the parliament and we will do something about these old structures and corrupted politicians. So it was really a strong claim, you know. It's important, I will explain why. Sorry, I just need a little translation, caricatures, yeah. And so we wanted to, we wanted people to know about some corruption cases that weren't, you know, well known. So we put caricatures of some of those corruption cases onto the bus. And actually, one of those people that we put on the bus, she was a highly established politician. She sued us in front of the court, and she lost because caricatures are allowed here. And it was, we got all the media attention that we didn't even wish for. Like, it was really good because until then, media didn't write about us. And when she sued us, everyone wrote about it, and people were on our side, of course. We call her our best volunteer.
Они ее назвали своим лучшим волонтером.
So we dealt with the two biggest problems that we had till then, that people don't know us and people don't know what we stand for, what is our program, by getting into the media like that. But it's a way, you know, you need, or you, it's good to have even a negative advertisement, because you then get into the media.
Bad advertisement, yes, we know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, for the second problem, we really made a readable, brief, good program, and we made a series of short animated videos so that people knew what is our program. And we began with the finances so that everybody thought or knew that we are serious. I think this is like the basis of our success. Of course, we had on our side great people, especially from the, you know, media and marketing segment, or, you know, part of the society, which really helped us. because one of the things I think is really important is not only to know good people, for example, in PR or marketing, but to know the people that know people, you know. Like, I will briefly explain it. You maybe don't have to translate the whole, but nowadays we have a great PR manager, and we actually found her because one of our marketing specialists was a good friend with her, and he recommended us to her, even though she wouldn't ever think of working for us, you know. But because she was a friend with our marketing specialist, she works for us, and she's you know, huge. She's great. So it's also one of my advices would be like to know people that know good people, you know, or something like that, in the area that you, because PR and marketing is everything, like, honestly. I think that pretty much sums up our campaign. So I don't know if you have any questions maybe about it, or should I move on to the next topics?
У нас есть еще вопросы по самой избирательной кампании, или можно перейти к другим вопросам?
Думаю, в принципе, нету. Она хорошо все объяснил, как у них происходило.
You explained very well. And you can go on.
Well, it was brief, but it's pretty much it. Okay, so here's internal structure. Yeah. Well, we have nowadays, like, we have within the party direct democracy.
How many people?
Nowadays,
how many
we
members
have
do you have?
Nowadays it's like 800
Сейчас у них
members,
800
but
членов.
but before the elections we actually had like 400 members. So after the elections it doubled. We have a platform, online discussion voting platform that is called Forum, and that is the place where we discuss everything within the party. Yeah, which enables everyone to participate because it's online, so we don't need to meet in person. That is really essential for our work.
Хотел спросить, а каким образом они назначают представителей? У них тоже это методом прямой демократии назначение происходит?
He asks, how do you elect your representatives? Is it also the method of direct democracy or something?
Yeah, I will get to it immediately.
Она подойдет к этому.
We have, well, the party structure is that all the members are the so-called General Assembly. So nowadays we have General Assembly of 800 people, and they can vote. Yeah, and they can vote on anything. That's the most important, most important part of the internal structure, and it can do pretty much anything if it gets support of enough members. For example, I will get to it more specifically, but for example, we elect our party leaders, but we can also, all of us, to call them off. And it's up to the members, and you need to get some amount of support for your motion, but the General Assembly is the most, is above everyone, or is above all the other parts of the structure that I will describe now.
Можно вопрос?
Yes.
Above.
He has a question.
Сколько активных членов партии участвуют в голосовании и дискуссии?
How much active party members participate in all discussions and all elections. What is quorum?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about the voting quorum, or we don't have a quorum like that. A certain amount of members have to vote, but from the voting members, I think so. I'm not sure actually, but from the voting members, there has to be, of course, some amount for or some amount against to pass the motion. And as for the amount of active people, it depends on the importance of the elections. Like if it's an election of the board, like 60-70% of the members vote. If it's not that important, even like 40% of members vote. However, so that because there's a lot of votings and motions and stuff that needs to be discussed, there is what we call a Republic Committee, which is like approximately 50 members. The General Assembly elects elects people into the Republic Committee, and these members vote and discuss not so crucial and important agenda, you know, so that not every member has to be aware of everything all the time. Plus, there's the system that each district or region in Czech Republic, there's 14 of regions, has a member that's in the Republic Committee. Plus, there are from the whole party who wants to participate, and we vote for them. And they are really important. And of course, the General Assembly can call them off anytime if they think they are not doing their job well or not representing their ideas well.
Можно тогда уточнение? Голосование как в комитете, так и прямое является тайным или явным?
He asks, is the vote in first General Assembly and second in this Republican Committee open or secret? The vote, the process of vote.
Well, it depends on the specific voting and topic and how they decide. Usually in the Republic Committee, or I think always, no, in the Republic Committee, it's always public, so that you know who voted how.
Открытое голосование.
But in the General Assembly, I think all of the votings are secret. Then we have the board, which consists of 4 vice chairpersons and 1 chairman or chairwoman, and they are well, their position is that they should how to say that? Well, they also vote on several things. For example, when the or no, I will explain it even with the heads of departments. So, say that we have a board with chairman and chairpersons, and then I will continue. Sorry, and then we have departments. Administrative, technical, financial, international, and media, and personal. Sorry, so 6 departments.
У них есть 6 отделов.
Yeah, I can repeat them.
Okay, one by one.
Administrative.
Административный отдел.
Administrative. Technical.
Технический отдел.
International.
Международный отдел. Finance.
Media.
И связи с прессой.
And personal,
Типа,
like human resources, you know.
типа отдел кадров.
And which one did I forgot?
Financial.
Technical, media.
Финансы.
Financial, yeah, thank you.
И финансы.
These departments have their leaders, like I'm the head of the international department, and they have teams of usually volunteers. But nowadays, when we have some kind of money from the elections, most of the heads of the departments are full-time paid. Well, my international department is kind of specific because the main focus of the department is to, bring know-how from other pirates and actors in the world, players, and to give them our know-how, and to have good relationships and stuff like that, and to be present in the international structures like European Pirate Party and PPI and stuff like that. So actually, it's kind of strange that it's a department because it should be more like one international coordinator, which it is right now. I have people that can go somewhere instead of me, and I have a team of translators, but it's very voluntarily, so the people go out and in, and my department is kind of strange. So generally the departments are for the internal processes within the party. For creation of the program, there are another groups, let's call them working groups, for specific topics. So I don't create program for international relations or something like that. That's the work of the working group. But yeah, it's not in the internal structure, so I didn't mention them yet. And the program always goes through the Republic Committee that votes on it. Yeah.
Программа всегда утверждается на Республиканском комитете.
Yeah, and within the board, each chairperson is, let's say, like above some of the departments. So like it's sorry, I will just quickly translate it. Yeah, like superior. And usually the chairperson doesn't do much because the departments work on its own. But when there is a problem, the superiors in the chairmanship or in the board are there to solve the situation. Also, the board represents the party. So they are the most known in the media. When there is some kind of a interview or something like that, it's expected that the board will go and communicate with the media. Plus, they one of their last things that they have to do is that they approve expenses from the budget that are above some financial limit. I think it's like 50,000 crowns, which is like sorry, I'm trying to convert it. It's like 2,000 euros. The board approves expenses above 2,000 euros, and the Republic Committee approves expenses above 5,000 euros. So that's the most important, or let's say it like that, it's the most important parts of the structure, but there's more. We have also 2 more committees. It's a control committee and arbitration committee. And they are there to solve internal problems, and if there some members are against other members, and there is beginning to be, for example, some faction, control and arbitration committees are there to solve these internal struggles. And again, into the committees, the General Assembly votes people in it.
Избирает в них тоже Генеральная Ассамблея.
Then we have, as we have in the Czech Republic, 14 regions plus Prague. We have 15 regional structures, which has their own boards with a chairman and chairpersons, but they are only regional. And they are dealing with their daily, administrative and agenda, and with local elections and regional elections. That's it for our structure. Of course, there are even smaller parts, but that's not really important. It's just so that we can work on daily basis. We have South Moravian region. I'm in South Moravian region. However, it's quite big, and we can't know all the people that are within the region and want to participate. So we have local cells, or how to say it, for example, in villages or districts, and they have their own board and stuff like that, and they are accepting new members, and we as a region can in these districts say no, don't accept this member, for example, if we think it's someone problematic, but generally we don't really talk into their internal businesses. So that's for our internal structure. Do you have any more questions, or maybe can you tell me how's your structure, if you want to?
Yes, она спрашивает, что она рассказала все, что могла о нашей внутренней структуре, и не хотим ли рассказать о нашей внутренней структуре мы. Я хочу сказать, что как раз сколько времени назад мы приняли тоже решение о том, что у нас постоянный съезд?
Ну, по-моему, да, по-моему, примерно год.
Well, about a year ago, before that moment, our main organ was a convention. General Convention. До года назад нашим главным органом был Генеральный съезд. This General Convention was called once a year, and once a year we had re-election of all our chairmen and all our persons. And a year ago we had decided that this General Convention will last without last forever. So now we have direct democracy every day. This convention consists of all our party members, and the only our main problem is that active quantity of active members is far smaller than the overall quantity. Наша главная проблема, что количество активных членов гораздо меньше, чем общее количество членов.
Можно еще добавить, Владимир, то, что мы, так как более молодая партия и нас намного меньше, у нас проблем с прямой демократией не возникает, потому что мало, то есть прямая демократия эффективна очень в малых группах. И пока наша группа мала, у нас крайне эффективна сейчас прямая демократия.
Yes, he says that because of our group is very small, our direct democracy is very effective. Because direct democracy is exactly effective in small groups. Yes, but why we have so small activity? Почему у нас такая низкая активность? Because of we in Russia have no political life as itself. We have an imitation of political life on the state level. It is only imitation. We have imitational parties. We have the parliament, which wasn't elected really. It was nominated, but not elected. And so people don't see why they should participate in some political structures. Люди не видят смысла участвовать в политических структурах.
Можно еще добавить, Владимир, то, что у нас, когда, я, скажем так, праймерис проводил, насчет Пиратской партии просто не знают. То есть, когда говоришь про Пиратскую партию, люди обычно спрашивают, а такая вообще существует? И это по причине того, что, во-первых, ни в коем случае у нас не
длинно-то не говори, дай мне время перевести. He says that in our overall population, about the Pirate Party, almost nobody knows at all. Almost nobody knows, very small amount of people knows about pirate movement on international scale. Yes. So for us, it's very important to demonstrate it in life. So why we decided to try these connections, we want to promote these videos to show people that there is an international movement. We are the part of this movement, and that the changes in our country are due to come soon enough. This feeling is all over our population. We all have this feeling that with this corruption, this degradation, to this corruption, to this degradation must be put an end.
Владимир, тогда еще надо сказать, что у нас нет регистрации. Это важно.
Yes, and we have no our party has no registration, and it is too important for those who hesitate to enter or not to enter.
And what are the requirements for a party to register in Russia? Some signatures or...
First, какие требования? First, we must have 500 members. Second, those 500 members must be spread around country. We must have our regional departments in not less than half regions of Russia. And Russia has 80 and something regions. То есть я сказал, что мы должны иметь региональных отделений. There can be about maybe... Сколько может быть человек в региональном отделении для регистрации его?
3.
At least 3 members must be in regional department, and those regional departments must be at least in half of the subjects of Russian Federation. Subjects of Russian Federation. And those subjects 80 and something. I don't know exactly. I can watch it in Google.
And we have country train to Moscow Ну, в общем, скажи, что с каждого региона 2 человека должны поехать в Москву на общий съезд.
And to register, we should make an opening convention, registrational convention, and 2 members of every our department should go to Moscow. And then begins the process of registration. И потом начинается процесс регистрации.
Wow, that sounds too much. Like, I'm not surprised they're not registered. We wouldn't be either, probably, because yeah, that's really harsh conditions.
Exactly. On Saturday, we had a talk about the next try for registration, and maybe it will be next summer.
Okay, so I will continue, or do you want to add something about your structure? Or how many members do you already have?
Сколько у нас сейчас считается членов?
Около 150 или 200. Но это последнее повторное как это сказать?
Well, with all our silent members, it is about 150 or 200 people. But really active are about... Сколько мы можем сказать реально активных?
Не более 20 точно.
Трудно сказать.
Ну...
Не более 20, я думаю, можно сказать. Это уже с небольшим преувеличением, наверное.
Well, about 20 members are active.
Yeah. And
for Russia, it is a shame. We understand that for Russia, it is a shame, and we should do something to change this. And хочу сказать о проблеме нашего фюрерства в оппозиции. The most general problem is that we have corrupt government and we have opposition. But this opposition is structured on exactly the same principles. One leader at the head and nobody from supporters has any voice at all. Leader is Tsar. and it is right for every oppositional force if we take them separately. Every one of them is structured so, and so it gives exactly us a potential. We are almost the only one. Maybe there are small groups which are not have no PR and we don't know much about them. Maybe libertarians, I don't know. They are not too effective and so on. Well, we are one of choices for those who don't want dictatorship. And many people are fed up with dictatorship. Many people are fed up. And
That's
they will
good.
even more in the nearest future.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask one more thing about your functioning. And do you have also some kind of a online platform where you meet and discuss, or is it all happening just in person on the general convention meeting?
Она спрашивает, есть ли у нас какая-то платформа, на которой мы встречаемся, интернет, или только лично. No, we convene in Mumble.
Mumble, forum, Telegram.
So we have forum, we have Telegram. Forum is not active exactly.
Like I meant some kind of a platform really to maybe discuss and vote, proposals and stuff like that. I think that can be happening even on Discord. You have some kind of a forum.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. because I think that is really essential. And for example, sorry.
We have open vote for all questions, with the exception of to vote, how to say, those who are chairpersons and so on. Personal votes are closed, and all other questions have open votes.
Yeah, cool.
Еще можно упомянуть о веб-сайте и то, что мы создаем коллективные документы об отчете
And when
собраний.
We have about one every 2 weeks. We have assemblies, and every member of our party, как сказать, has notification about them, but they are not too great in number. And it isn't mumble. So there are no votes, there are only discussions. And if there is vote, the vote takes place on our forum.
Yeah. What worked well for us is also have these kind of discussions, online, like in text, because people sometimes don't want to, talk like in person on a call on Mumble. They want to just write and maybe think through some proposals and stuff like that. And I think that worked well for us. We have a forum where people can discuss and actually upvote with, thumbs up, discussion posts that they like, and thus we know what is popular opinion and what people support, and everyone can react to that. And I think it's well structured. But yeah, it's just a suggestion or a tip if you ever wanted to do something like that.
Она нам предлагает сделать форум, поскольку многие люди любят именно в письменном виде, а не просто в устном что-то обсуждать. We have such a forum, but because of lack of activity, there are not too much questions which people treat as important, and they don't want to discuss. You have a political life in Czech Republic, and we don't have political life in Czech Republic. Our discussions are only discussions. We can have no possibility to influence the government, to make choices, to make decisions. We have no such possibility.
Yeah.
Я сказал, что у нас нет политической жизни, у нас нет возможности принимать решения, у нас нет возможности делать выбор, поэтому у людей нет активности. So the forum, we have the forum, but we don't have the life on that forum.
Well, I understand that it's much harder to get into politics in Russia. Like it wasn't easy even in the Czech Republic, and we don't yet have a dictatorship. So yeah, I can't even imagine how hard it must be in Russia.
Why not? You had the socialist period.
Sorry?
You have had the socialist period.
Yeah, but I don't remember that.
Okay. I do remember. We are very close to that situation. Very close. Not exactly, but very close.
Okay. Good. Thank you for
as far as
all the answers.
Czechoslovakia were even several parties, not one, as in Soviet Union at those times. Well, and so we have now in Russia, we have several parties, but they are all from the same source. То есть в Чехословакии когда-то тоже было несколько партий при социалистическом режиме. В ГДР тоже, кстати.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions, so I will go on to the next topics. If you don't have anything you want to add before that.
Yes.
Окей.
Okay.
So you wanted to know what questions are we thinking and discussing right now?
Yes.
Maybe just a specification. Did you mean like in the parliament or within the party, or what kind of questions?
For your party, are the most important questions not those which are the most important for all Czech Republic? You have more important inner questions.
Inner. Okay. Well, there are several problems we are dealing with right now, because we grew quite fast after the elections. Of course, we existed before the last year's elections for 8 years, so our structure was pretty stable and we were ready for a success. However, it was still huge, so we had to somehow adapt. As I already said, the number of members doubled. We now have 800 and it's growing steadily. Before that it was 400, and we were before that a party in which everybody knew each other actually. Even so, just online we knew each other. Nowadays people know themselves just within their region, like people in Prague know their members in Prague, but no one really knows the rest of the Republic. Yeah, and nowadays we have a specifically dedicated team that's called Upgrade Team, that's trying to somehow update the party structure so that this is not a problem. Because, for example, people actually kind of, for example, stopped using our forum, or they are not using it much because they didn't think it's efficient, and they are using, for example, Facebook, which is really bad on so many levels. So the Upgrade Team is trying to implement a new platform on which everybody would discuss everything, and it would be user-friendly, and everybody would want to use it instead of Facebook, because that's a not working tool. It's a social tool, you know, so it's bad even from that point of view. And the Upgrade Team is also trying to update the department structure and stuff like that, so that it works flawlessly with the parliamentary group. I will explain that more. Because another problem that goes hand in hand with this problem is that the parliament resides in Prague, and Prague has the most members, and nowadays most of the paid people within the party and also most of the active people in the party are in Prague, because there's the parliament, there's the parliamentary team and club and the MPs and everybody involved in the parliamentary work, and the rest of the party that's not involved in the parliamentary work or doesn't live in Prague feels like they are left behind.
Вопрос по электронной демократии. Можно как раз мы, раз эту тему задели, внутренние структуры партии, они создают свое отдельное ПО и новую модель электронной демократии, как понимаю?
Oh, you mean the online platform? We will probably create something completely new, and we will program it ourselves. I thought it's another question.
No.
So yeah, these problems that we are growing too fast and that we are beginning to be Prague-centric our main issues right now. And honestly, we didn't solve them yet, and I don't know if it's possible to solve them, but we are trying. And I think we are on a good track, but yeah, we are not done yet. It's still a problem.
Well, realizing that you will solve this problem, because nowadays it is not obligatory to be in Prague in person. I know that I think that online connection is as good as offline when you had met with the person at least once in your life. Well, after that you can communicate without personal connection.
Yeah, definitely. The problem that, for example, I am actually experiencing, because I live in Brno, not in Prague, is that sometimes people solve the problems or discuss the problems in person in the parliamentary building, because they work there and they meet each other, and I'm not there because I work from Brno. So then I don't know what they discussed and what is their solution, or I'm completely excluded, from the process. So, for example, we are now preparing a campaign against the internet censorship, because European Union is trying to push some kind of directive with articles we don't agree with. And usually I would, as the head of the international department, I would be the one organizing these demonstrations and protests, but I'm not. The assistant of one of the MPs is doing it, because he's in the parliamentary building where the media team and everyone and the protests will be in Prague. So he's doing it because he's there, and I'm just helping. And I don't think that's the right way to do it, but yeah, we have to deal with this kind of problem. As for our problems, as what would be done if our party had a majority in parliament? You mean like what's our priorities?
Yes.
Program? Yeah.
What would you make from your country? Is there any special plan?
Well, we are glad we don't have majority yet, because we are still learning everything. Even now, we realize how much we don't know about politics, but we are learning. And actually, the MPs that are now MPs are learning what to do once we have more votes in that case, so that they can be ministers and people like that. And as for the program, well, there are some short-term priorities and, of course, long-term way or ideals we would like to push. Our short-term priorities are to make, I'd say it's 4 of them. One of them is to make the government less bureaucratic and more accessible. So some kind of a e-government, but of course not just voluntarily, but to make it easier for people to interact with their MPs and governments, even the local ones, so that people can really participate. It's not just about administration, it's really also about participation. So opening up the government is one. No ideas. And we actually have some methods and mechanisms that we are applying to ourselves, and we'd be glad if it was applicable also on the state level. For example, we have a register of lobbyistic contacts, or generally contacts, so that if someone from our party discusses something with some lobbyist or someone from another party or anyone who wants something from him that is related to his position within this, politics, we write it down, and we write it down even with what we got from the meeting and what we gave. So sometimes it's kind of bizarre because some people write down like they had a meeting with this person and they bought them a glass of water and the person gave them like a glass of beer or something like that. But it's just to make sure that there is no potential or space for for bribes, so register of contact. And we have other mechanisms, but I won't go much into detail because I don't also understand how they work. But that's the second thing. Third one is definitely education and educational system and schools, because we are in new age of information, internet, online. People receive all kinds of information and they don't know how to work with them, because until now they thought that everything that's written is true because there were one newspaper or something like that. So now when they read something, for example, on the internet, they don't know anything about hoaxes and fake news. They think it's all true. And also our whole educational system is really old school, like it needs an update. So as we are a modern party that works with new technologies and information, education is actually one of our priorities, because people are not taught how to live in this new age. So we'd like to change that. And fourth, it may sound kind of like not important, but it is our priority, and that is legalization, of course. First, of course, only of marijuana, because I don't know if you know about a situation in the Czech Republic, but it is said that we have legal medical marijuana. It is not really true, because it's not accessible. Either it doesn't exist on the market to be bought, and if it's on the market, it's so expensive that it's much better to buy it on the black market. And that is also why we want to legalize it, because black market is a huge problem, and not only they don't tax, so the state loses a lot of money, and with that money we could actually make better healthcare or education with tax money from these types of financial operations. But also it's important because if you are selling something on the black market, I mean substances, it's usually not clean substance, and a lot of actually health problems are deriving from the fact that you didn't take a clean dose of something, but something that is mixed up with God knows what, So our focus is legalization because it's a problem of the whole society on many, many levels. And we think that if we change this, we actually kinda change how people perceive things, that they won't be so conserved in their ideas, and then maybe they would also start to think about other things more, because thinking is the point where we want to get with society. So that would be our 4 priorities, I'd say, in the parliament if you had the majority. As for the long term, I mentioned, well, I don't know how you perceive, the pirate movement and stuff like that. and I actually know that my position is not the position of the whole party, but I think that the pirate parties, in their substance, once they accomplish their goals, they can actually cease to exist. I will explain it, because I think every party has some kind of ideology, like left, right, center, whatever you call it. They have opinions and they represent those opinions, you know, in the society. I don't think that pirates really have ideology in this kind of sense. I think we want to set the system up so that everybody can have information about what they are voting, information about which parties really represent their opinions, and that the system is set up so that the parties really represent what they say they represent, not that they are just, you know, corrupt old structures. And once we set up the system like that, we don't actually need to be here, you know, because we don't have any ideology to push onto people. But it's just my personal opinion, and I wanted to mention it because I think it's why I think pirates are so great. But you might have another opinion. Yeah. So yeah, that's for our program. And the last question you had is, what do you think, or what do I think of international pirate movement? There are now two structures, the European Pirate Party, that includes all the European pirate parties, obviously, and Pirate Parties International, PPI, that consists of all the parties all over the world.
But some of pirate parties excluded themselves from Pirate Party International.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as for the European Pirate Party, I think nowadays it's doing quite a good job. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in the board of the PPU. We are working on the Common European Elections program for the European Parliament elections. And we are somehow trying to establish ourselves. We were, for example, registered finally after 4 years. So we are somehow making a progress. So for PPU, I'm kind of satisfied. Yeah, so I said I'm satisfied with PPEU's work, and we are working on a Common European Elections program. And I think 2 months ago, we will finally, after 4 years, registered. So we are establishing ourselves and can begin some work. As for the PPI, the Czech pirates are part of it. Well, we are not active at all in PPI.
Но они в нем активно не участвуют.
And I don't know what is their agenda right now, but I'm interested in their agenda. And they will have a General Assembly in November, as you probably know.
No.
And I would like to discuss there what is actually PPI doing, why do they need money, and for what, and if I am satisfied with the answers, like that they want to do something important, the Czech pirates will help them. But I don't know what to expect, you know, because I'm not included right now because I don't have time for watching PPI. So yeah, so our main priority is PPU, and I will see what will come of PPI. By the way, it will be in Munich, in Germany, on 3rd and 4th November. And I think you can definitely participate online if you were interested.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so that's it from me according to the questions in the email. But now we can discuss whatever you'd like now.
У меня тогда есть один вопрос. Вот пиратская концепция пиратских партий – это устоявшаяся концепция или она будет развиваться? Если она будет развиваться, то куда?
Well, the whole pirate conception as we know it is there for already 10 years. So I think somehow it is already established. However, the whole concept is based on the fact that we are a swarm. You know, I think you've heard about swarm. It's Rick Falkvinge, the founder of the Pirate Party in Sweden. He written a book that's called Swarm Rise. Swarm is like, you know, a flock or I don't know.
Yes, I know. Crowd.
Crowd. And well, the swarm is a life concept and organism. So of course it moves all the time and it evolves somehow, but it's impossible to say where and how. Maybe there will be too many people and the swarm will stop functioning and the whole pirate movement will die, or will the swarm ideology will transfer and go into the society, and everybody will start cooperating like that, and then we'll all live happily in a utopia. But I can't really say. But I think the base is swarm, and I like that actually. We are not a company.
Пиратская партия Чехии начинала свой путь с того, чтобы с идеи то, что информация в интернете, да и в принципе должна распространяться свободно, то вопрос вот такой, что они в Чехии думают по поводу частного, то есть права собственности на информацию. Может быть, они и за отмену полностью частного права на информацию, частной собственности на информацию. Опять же таки, здесь ни в коем случае я не говорю то, что производители деньги не должны получать. Они должны получать деньги за продукцию, но...
Вопрос.
Да.
Не мнение, вопрос.
Да. Отменять ли частное право, частную собственность на информацию?
Private rights on information.
Private property rights on information.
Well, I'm not an expert, but just from hearing it, I definitely think that information should be always free and to be shared with anyone. Like, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I, for example, support people like Snowden. Information and censorship is always bad.
I can say ideologically, we in Russia live in pirate country. Nobody recognizes the author rights. Exactly. Nobody wants to pay for information. Nobody makes. Almost nobody. And exactly, Snowden, when he was Russian, maybe he would be treated like a traitor, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Рассматривает такой термин, как собственность интеллектуальная. Есть, то есть интеллектуальная собственность – это существующее для них, или они хотят полностью изменить?
It's about opinion Czech Party on intellectual property. this notion must continue to exist or it must be abolished altogether?
I see. Well, I'd really love to answer, but I'm kinda, I'm not too good in this. Like I know it's one of the main concepts of the pirates, but
хотя
it's
это
really
одна из главных концепций пиратов.
complicated issue. I know that we generally are against big corporations that stand behind some authors, because the authors don't profit from this, only the corporations. We want the money back to the people, the authors, but we don't want monopolies and these types of corporations to take away the author's money and then claim we, the pirates, are taking away the author's money. Because ironically, most people I know that are going into cinema are my friends pirates. So we support authors and movies, and we don't just download, and we are for new methods like Spotify and stuff like that, where you can pay some, or Netflix, HBO Go, stuff like that. We are really for that, where it goes or support directly the author by downloading their CD or buying it, I mean. But the problem is that the big corporations don't often give these types of options, and thus if we want the information or whatever we want to download, we have to pirate it actually, and we don't have the option to buy it. So we are more for updating the whole system, because we are in the 21st century, there are options to do that, just the corporations are too old school.
Well, I want to ask about education. Do you consider the platform on the state level with open educational program on various topics and the system of examination which would be acknowledged by state? So the whole theory is online and the examinations are offline. So such system.
Whether we support it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is very cheap. It is more cheap than to give this theory in every single university, every single, for example, mathematics. Mathematics is one for all.
Yeah, but we are not talking about that people wouldn't go into school, just that they'd have the materials online. Or
I
sorry,
speak,
what do you?
no, not as exclusion of something, but of giving the additional option. Я говорю не об отмене чего-то, а дополнительной опции. When maybe it is not exactly for those who are in school age, maybe for those who are a bit elder, but he won't have additional diploma, or maybe he didn't have it at all.
Yeah, well, we definitely support school materials to be online, and not only because the free access to information, but even from the point of ecology, because to have to print everything out all the time, it's really crazy when you can have it online. And it's getting better, but it's still bad. plus, for example, the directive about copyright from the European Parliament I was talking about, which we are against, has an article that would actually make it worse for sharing study materials online because of copyright. So we are really against that, and we want everything to be accessible to everyone. Yeah. And
well,
even,
but when the Czech Ministry of Education will make it by itself, then the problem of copyrights doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, I don't think a ministry can make a study book or something like that. It's always some kind of expert in the field that makes the book, isn't it so? Like, ministry can't, you know, create books because it would sound like a Ministry of Truth from 1984.
No. As far as I know, the ministry approves or disapproves.
Oh, yeah. But there's always some kind of author behind the book, some specialist in the field of language or math that creates the book. Yeah. And the materials. It's never the ministry that creates it. That's why there's problem with copyright, because the authors, of course, want some kind of a reward from the fact that the school system or the state uses their book for education.
Well, but when this reward is from the whole nation, it is very cheap for everybody. It is very cheap to have the one textbook for the whole nation than to have several. For example, when we go to mathematics, the main body of it was created in 19th century, I think, and there are no copyrights at all. The theorems and so on are the same. But you shall have the official course that is, how to say it, approved, and you the main thing is not only to have this course, but the system of examinations that are recognized as valid, and that's all. And so we can make in other fields, some of them maybe are more modern than mathematics, but the point is the government has possibility to make education cheap, because the government is far more large than any educational entity. And here we can speak about the economizing of scale.
And in Russia, are there some fees for going to school, or do you have it paid by the state, or how does it work? Sorry, I don't know.
We have some percent of places in high school free of charge, and some of them are with fees. You have possibility to learn free of charge, such possibility, but you have no possibility to take the program from one source.
Yeah, I see. So that is not unified. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I agree that it would be really cheap and efficient. I'm just
say
afraid
about online university. Exactly. Online university.
Yeah. That would be really cool. Well, that would be really cool if it existed.
But if
I don't think we are there yet, but I'd like to have it sometimes, like that it existed. Like, of course, online universities already exist. They are, I think, just not acknowledged. You know, like
They
by
are even
the
acknowledged,
institutions.
but they have no free access. You must be a true member of this university, and then you have access.
Round table and invite people from the field to discuss this idea and to, you know, open this idea in the society, I would say. But that's just pretty much it. We can't establish the online university yet. I thought it would be great.
Ну, в общем, смысл в том, что у них большинства, они сейчас в оппозиции, но они могут вынести это на круглые столы и прочее. Do you think it is a useful thing to discuss with roundtables? Что это полезно, кажется?
Well, usually doesn't have a great impact on the society because general public usually doesn't care that much. However, it's good to make such discussions and roundtables among the experts in the field because they are the ones, when you are in the government or when we get into the government one day, that can lobby in the government, like, yeah, this is a good proposal, please support it. We are experts, we know something about it. So you are making a base for future.
The opinion is that our session is long enough, and what do you think about not to make it longer but to meet some other time when it will be convenient to you, and then discuss maybe something else or so. For us, the fact to be connected is very important for you to understand. Because it is even some kind of guarantee that we are more safe to be a part of opposition in Russia. There are less chances that you suffer from repressions when you are more known. There are less chances that you are under repressions.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope that this was at least kinda useful for you, and I definitely like to meet some other time. Maybe you can even again write me down some topics you'd like to cover, and I can prepare myself so that I don't say, I don't know, sorry, and that I can really answer everything. So, you know, any program topics that you'd like to cover, I can prepare and tell you our positions, or even translate some snippets from our program and stuff like that. It's completely up to you. What you'd like to hear.
Thank you for your time. Maybe someday, maybe somebody from inside of your party who knows Russian or who is willing to study Russian, maybe he wants to become the constant member of your international department for connection with Russian Pirate Party. I promise from my part that I can take steps in front, ahead, and learn some Czech. I know Serbian, for example, well enough to understand it, and I know that.
I think I actually have one member. I'm not sure whether he's Russian, but I think he understands Russian. So I will ask him if he can maybe join us next time.
Okay, By the way, I was on the last General Assembly of PPI, and among your 6 members, there was the family name which sounds for me like Russia. I know that in Czech masculine names don't have ov, and he was something
Yeah,
like
it was Alexander Mansurov. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about him. So yeah, you are correct. Cool. So I'll invite him to the next meeting if he's available. I haven't heard about him for some time, so I don't know how much is he active. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe some other. Maybe it is exactly a person who only wants to study Russia. Russia is a perspective country. We are on the. We believe that we are on the threshold of changes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well,
Thanks for the discussion.
thanks for the discussion.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you, Marketa.
coming. Nice to meet you too. So yeah, have a great evening, and we'll stay in contact via emails for now.
Okay. Okay.
So bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.